Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/idontworkherelady, where people tell us their best stories on how they got mistaken for being an employee. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some Reddit stories. I must be the auto parts store mechanic that only specialises in one brand of car. A little background. I recently started working for a dealership as a lube tech, the people that inspect your car, rotate tyres, etc. And had just gotten my uniforms, which say the brand of the auto manufacturer, after a month of working there. I wore them during my shift and kept them on because I was exhausted and didn't want to change back into my other clothes. I also had to get some parts for my car, seeing as the dealership doesn't normally stock part specifics for my car, it being a different make. I drove about 20 minutes towards home and the shop, and I picked up a pizza and a drink from a shop across the street, and drove over to the auto parts shop and left my car running with the pizza staying hot in the car. I head inside and grab what I need for the project. Rotors and brakes, the car I have seems to run them down quickly for some reason. As I collect my items after ringing them up, a lady walks in. Your typical Karen with the acrylic nails, speaking to your manager haircut, and some god-awful neon yellow stilettos, covered head to toe in what I assume is designer clothes. I have no idea for sure, but some gator probably passed away to be made into her handbag. She approached the counter and proceeded to ask some fairly simple questions. How much for this? Does this exist for my car? Etc. The guy at the counter sighed and tried as best he could to narrow down her questions to simple yes and no answers. But before he could shorten her requests, her Karenator gaze locked onto me as she walked towards me, noticing I had some shiny parts for my car and must have assumed I worked there for some reason. The conversation was rather interesting, shall we say. K, Karen, me, yours truly, and CG, counter guy. Hey, you must know a thing or two about cars, right? Yeah. I can maybe answer a couple questions, but the guy at the counter probably knows more than I do. Well, he was taking too long, and you seem sure enough to help me out with my car. Ma'am, I have all the information you need, and I can look. Be quiet, you old bag. I have your mechanic right here, and he's going to fix my car for me. What? I'm not a mechanic, but I can give you a rough diagnosis about what might be wrong with your car. Psst, well, of course you're a mechanic. Only mechanics wear those shirts. You're wearing X company's uniform, so you must know how to fix those cars, so you can definitely fix mine. Well, I'm a lube tech. I replace your oil in your car. I don't necessarily know. Look, you're going to fix my car or I'll have your manager fire you. I look at the counter guy. Well, you heard her, Robert. Not his actual name. I'll be inspecting the car to make sure it's in peak condition. The counter guy, catching on to my plan. Please, take your time. She needs all the help she can get. Following the conversation, I walk outside, toss my rotors and brakes in the car, and take a look at her car. It happened to be the mother of all Karen-mobiles. A Chevy Suburban with third row seating for all her little spawn and co. to ride in style. For some reason, my truck doesn't want to go. Like, the engines will growl like this. She imitates a herd of whales. But it just doesn't go for some reason. Alright, well, start it up and let me see what I can figure out. Karen hops in, starts it, and tries revving it like she's going to bounce out of there. Miss, that's the last thing you want to do is rev the car in park. It can cause damage to the drivetrain. So, I need to make sure you hear the noise, so I'm not crazy. She then proceeds to get out so I can look inside from the driver's perspective. What had happened is she left the parking brake on, fully engaged, and was wearing it and the braking system out, probably the drivetrain as well. Did you put on your parking brake when you got here? Well, duh. I can't leave the car without it in park. Let me elaborate. Did you engage the emergency brake when you parked here? What's an emergency brake? You're kidding, right? They teach that in driver's ed. It's a fail-safe brake if your car is parked on a hill or somewhere to prevent the car from rolling if the parking brakes fail. So what are you trying to tell me? I'm assuming you had the parking brake fully engaged and you were driving around with it. From the sound of it, the emergency brake is probably destroying your car, the drivetrain, and more. My best guess is that your parking brake is still working, but just barely enough to keep your car holding. Well then, can you fix it for me? Haha, ma'am, that requires a shop to access that kind of work. And this auto parts store doesn't have a bay that anyone could work in. As I said before, I'm a lube tech and don't have the proper training to deal with this kind of issue. Are you saying you won't help me? How dare you leave a helpless woman without a car? Oh, you have a working car? You just need to bring it in for a cert? Absolutely not. I demand you fix my car or I'm telling your boss that you should be fired for breaking my car. At this point, the auto parts store was closing. Doors locked, lights off, etc. The counter guy was also heading out and saw us chatting and stopped by to see if he could help defuse the situation. So, OP, did you find out the problem? I explained the situation to him. As calmly as he could, ma'am, your car is in need of dire service. Your vehicle looks within the past few years, so you should be able to bring it in for a thorough inspect. Shut up! Neither of you are going to fix my car. I demand to speak to your manager now! Ma'am, we're closed. And this guy doesn't even work here. I bet he doesn't even work on Chevrolets. But he's a... Lady, go away. I've had a hell of a day. I just came to get parts for my car because I know how to work on my car. You broke yours and need to have someone fix it. Someone qualified to work or whatever is left of your ride. Go away, both of you. I bet you thoroughly enjoy that. I'm going home to eat my food and sleep. Have a nice night and enjoy your ride home, you absolute tool. After the whole ordeal, I hopped in my car and sped off towards home. I think she also threw something at my car because I heard a dink like a rock bounce off my door. No dents though. She had it coming, and if I recall correctly, I kept the emergency brake fully engaged, just for her amusement. Now, I know the all-important question regarding all this. Was the pizza still warm? Yes. Yes it was. All 8 pepperoni-coated slices of it. Well, I hope Karen got a cold pizza and I'm glad he got a nice warm one. No, I'm a paramedic. I don't work here. Years ago, I was a paramedic and worked for a hospital in my city. My uniform was blue pants and a blue polo shirt with the name of the hospital, and it also says Emergency Medical Services underneath that. So, I wear blue pants with the extra pockets like cargo pants, and I have my stethoscope around my neck. I'm in the automotive section looking for light bulbs for my car. Me, D, delusional lady, and W, Walmart manager. I'm on my phone chatting and looking up which part I need when someone taps me on the shoulder kind of aggressively, which immediately angers me. I turn around. Where are the regular light bulbs? I give her a blank stare because I was confused at first. I said, where are the regular light bulbs at? Yes, she started yelling at me, which angered me, a 5'9", 235 pound muscular guy. I only mention this because, 1, I was a gym rat back then, and 2, she was maybe 5 foot and 100 pounds on a good day. I pointed to my neck and my chest because, well, you treat me like an idiot, I reply in kind. What is that supposed to mean? I want to know where the light bulbs are at. Did you see... She cuts me off. You want to get smart with me? Fine, I'll find your manager, you idiot. Me, seeing red now, I yell at her. Get out my face and don't touch me again. She runs away and I go back to shopping. Cue 2 minutes later, she's got a poor manager who looks flustered in tow and points to me. There's your employee, he threatened me. The manager looks at me and at her incredulously and says, he's a paramedic, he doesn't work here. Yes he does, look at that uniform, I'm calling the cops. Do what you want, but it's clear from his stethoscope and emblem that he's a paramedic, not one of our employees. He threatened me, you have it on camera. Let's see the cameras, where you approached me and started yelling at me first, and then me yelling back at you, but never actually approaching you. I think the police would be real interested in you physically touching me and technically assaulting me. Well, I'm going to call your work and tell them what you did. Go ahead. Here's a pen with our number on it. Ask for blank, my boss. Before you do, know that I'm almost done school for something different and I am about to quit anyway. I hold the pen out to her as she mutters and huff and puffs away. Are you okay? I'm fine. The manager just shakes his head and says, when you're done grabbing your stuff, I'll be at this section. I'll ring you up. It was close to the holidays, so the lines were super long. Because, well, it's Walmart. I got my things and check out in record time. As I'm leaving the store, I see the lady with a few items and the only lines open are the regular lines, no express. I walk by, hold up my bag and give her the biggest smile and wave. Her face becomes redder than a tomato with anger. Some people do get so invested in being right that they just never back down, don't they? You're Mexican, of course you work here. So there is this little Mexican restaurant I went with my family. While I was there, I saw that the staff were white mostly. They all had dark green shirts with little piggy and black pants. You can go refill your cup if you have a large cup. That's what I did, and when I got back to my table, I had to use the bathroom. As I was walking towards the bathroom, this woman grabs my arm and nearly pulled me down. I don't like when people touch me, so I said, WTF lady, get off. She started yelling at me to go get her food. I say back, I don't work here, and get your hand off me now. I was yelling and people were starting to look, so she just looked at me and said, I don't think you know who you're talking to, but don't talk to me like that again. And of course you work here, you're Mexican. I may have overreacted and I don't like being talked down to. She still had her hand on me with a tight grip, so I pulled my arm to my other side and she came flying off her seat. Her friend that was there with her was livid and said, how dare you slur. We will send you back to Mexico. The woman that fell was crying and screaming. When these women were yelling, I walked back to my table, forgetting I had to use the bathroom. P.S. I did use the bathroom. My family heard the yelling, but didn't see it happen. They asked what happened. I told them what happened. Then, the manager rushed over to see what had happened. They said, this employee grabbed my arm and yanked me to the ground. They asked me what happened and I told them, and showed them the mark of her hand on me. She tried saying that I put it there, but the manager said, why would he put a mark there if he doesn't know you or you don't work here? Anyway, she got kicked out and I got a free meal, so whatever. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other stories, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like on it and subscribe if you aren't already, but thank you so much for watching and I'll see you very soon.